Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Moms Uncensored, the Red Tent. JereLyn and I are going to talk about our experience with the Red Tent, what it's all about for us, and basically we're just going to talk about Red Tent in general and what it is, because whenever I mention to anybody every month when I'm about to go to the local Red Tent here that Crystal Starshine hosts in Atlanta, everybody's like, what is that? I'm not really quite sure what you're talking about. And, for me, it's always interesting because for me, it's like, okay, well, how do I go about telling someone this? Because it's a little out there. Basically, the red tent is, back in biblical times, women used to cycle with the moon, do a 28-day cycle, and I believe it's bleed on the new moon. JereLyn, is it bleed on the new moon? And so women would go to this specific red tent to bleed, and women, even today, my sisters and my mom and me, and gosh, when I lived in the dorms at college, women still cycle together. It's just we've added so many different hormones and gunk into our diets that, our cycles don't cycle with the new moon. But if you have women who are living in close quarters with one another, we still cycle together. And so the idea of the red tent is basically a place that women would gather once a month to bleed. They would bleed on the straw, and then they would take the straw and use it as fertilizer for the crops in the fields. And so there's a book and a movement going on. There's red tents all over the world. It's based off of the book, The Red Tent. And it's basically women who gather in these beautiful, elaborate tents or houses or community centers or really wherever they can gather to come together and just be with one another. And so I've been going since March, and so I went March, April, May, June. I've gone for 4 months. I think JereLyn's gone for 5. You started in February going, correct?
Yeah, I've been facilitating the event since its inception. So I've been to every one, been going since the beginning, and yeah, I've been encouraging other women who are too far out to start their own local chapters. Been telling everybody I know about it. I talked to my family about it this weekend, and my aunt was like, what's the red tent? And she's like, oh, is it, for the American Heart Association? Because I'm an ecotech. So that was the first thing that, she went to was, and then she was like, oh, is it about breast cancer awareness? And I'm like, no, still not quite right. So we got into the whole discussion about the history and the Bible, and the book it's by Anita Diamond, I believe is how you do it. But yeah, so we were just discussing all the things that we do there and everything, and every red tent's different. I don't think we've ever done the same thing twice. No, I mean, we watched the movie on the red tent, which was really cool because it showed the clips from all the different movements that are going on around the world. And so that was cool. And there's, the Red Tent movement, and there's the Red Tent Temple, and then there's the Temple of the Red Tent, and there's just different names and everything and variations. But it all just, if you type in Red Tent into Google, you'll find it, and you'll find the book. Again, that was Anita Diamant, Anita Diamond is the author. You can get it on Amazon. I've got girls going to the library to get it. We've told all of our friends know about it. All of our family knows about it. And the whole point is 2 things. One is self-love, taking time off, because back in the day, and I know a lot in Indian culture, the women would all go to the same teepee, the women's hut, and bleed together. And it's about, back then, women have always run the show, and we always will run the show because we're women, and that's just how things go. We run the family, we make sure the husbands get off to doing what they are supposed to be doing, and we make sure all the kids are taken care of. And that week of time that we bled was our vacation. It was our time off. It was our weekend, pretty much, because, women don't actually relax on the weekends. You do realize that, guys, right? Because we don't take time off on the weekends, because that's when we've got our kids. We go to work during the day, we've got our kids on the weekend. We never have a day off. So this was a built-in day off for women. And so what we've started here well, I'm in Florida right now, but what we started in Canton, Georgia, which is where Crystal Starshine has her sanctuary from the Starshine Healing Academy, is a day off for women, for all the girls who want to come. And we have some people that have come out of town, that have traveled from Tennessee and neighboring states, and some stay the weekend and chill out and, you know, see the sights and see Jasper and Ball Ground and all the surrounding, you know, little niches to go see, and they come to the Red Tent and they chill with us. And we have, like I said, we watched the movie about it. We have just sat around and talked for hours. We eat like crazy people. I mean, just all day, all 5 hours. Somebody's always eating or drinking tea, or we had coffee last time. We had chocolate, like homemade organic chocolate. The time before that, made by one of our girlfriends, Irene's husband, Ab. I think that's how you say his name. It's like Ab, like abs, which I think is awesome. But anyway, and then this time we had our girlfriend Lori make homemade Reese's peanut butter bars, which are amazing, and the food's always amazing. We had chocolate covered strawberries one time. We've had wraps that are good for you, sandwiches that are good for you. We've had chips that are not good for you, and dips, and, you know, drinks and tea. And Crystal likes to make infused water, which I think is awesome. It's got like cucumbers and lemon, or it's got some citrus stuff thrown in, or whatever. It's just very refreshing, and that's actually trending on Facebook right now. There's different recipes going on, and I keep wanting to try it, and Crystal did it, so thank you, Crystal. But yeah, we eat like pigs, small, beautiful pigs, and we go outside, and we look for crystals, and we play in the river, and we used Crystal's homemade drum one time, and that was cool. And we used her talking stick, which is a turtle shell and some feathers and something inside rattling. I don't know what it is, but she made that herself too. We've talked about our first run-in with Aunt Flo, and we've talked about our husbands and our lives, and we've talked about the trials and the triumphs, and we've talked about what we do for a living. Mm-hmm. All of us are different. I don't think any one of us had the exact same job. And a lot of us, like Lindsay and I, work multiple jobs, and we have our mundane business, and we have our spiritual side businesses, and we have kids, and we have marriages, and we have marriages that are ending, and we have boyfriends, and we have girlfriends, and we have, you know, school and work and play and vacations, like right now I'm on vacation, and just talk about. And a lot of the times we need to talk. We don't talk enough. We don't connect enough. And that's the second thing that Red Tent is about, is connection with women and connection with each other. And women used to travel in tribes. We used to have people around us all the time that would support us. And women today do our 9-to-5 jobs, and we don't talk to anybody. And I'm lucky if I get a response via text in 3 days from people that I consider good friends of mine. And Lindsay will tell you that's happened to her too, actually, quite recently. And we're just so out of touch with each other. And women are stronger together. We're more intuitive together. We're more heartfelt together. And children used to be raised in villages. And I think it really does take a village to raise a kid. I'm not going to parent the same as Lindsay. I'm not going to parent the same as my cousin Mary, my aunt, my mother. Oh my God, do I not parent the same as my mother? But every style is important for the kid to, you know, as long as it's not dangerous or harmful, is important for that child to experience, because everybody you meet is going to be a little bit different, and everybody's going to have a different perspective on life and how life should go. And, you know, as long as it's not harmful, I mean, expose your kid to as much as possible, different cultures, different people, different ways of, you know, living, you know, however many different ways to create a family that you can. I mean, families are not traditional. They are unconventional, and they are crazy, and they are weird. And that is a traditional family. That is a normal family, to have weird, crazy, unexplainable relations. And I didn't know that my godfather wasn't related to me until I was older, like 11 maybe. I had no idea. I just thought he was my dad's brother, but he wasn't. And a lot of our family is not related to us, and we create our family, and that's important to do, and it's important to be able to create those connections. Like, I have soul sisters. Biologically, I don't have any. My cousins are the closest thing that I have to biological sisters, and I love them to death, and I continue to keep them in my heart, and I gather more sisters, and that's what we're supposed to do. We should have tribes. Lindsay's a sister of mine. Crystal's a sister of mine. Heather, Autumn. They're all sisters of mine, and they always will be, because girls that tribe together thrive together, and we got to keep doing that. We got to keep thriving and growing and learning. That's what the Red Tent's about. It's a day off for all the crazy women of this world, and it's a connection to all the crazy women of this world, and we should foster it. And that's why Lindsay and I are so religious in going to our Red Tent, and why, if I do move away, now or later in life, that wherever I go, I will still continue to tribe and thrive.
Yeah, I really enjoy those Saturdays. I with JereLyn and I talking about abundance and prosperity, one of my jobs, I currently only work on Saturdays and Sundays. And when I started, the very first time I went, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try it, see what happens, and if it's worth the investment of not going to work that day, then I will continue to schedule time off for that day. And it's the best. It literally is the best thing I can do for myself during the month, really, because it actively makes myself, even the drive to Crystal's house. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of our viewers are not from the Atlanta area. The Metro Atlanta area, people, Atlanta itself is a little different than most places. You've got the city of Atlanta, and then you've got Metro Atlanta. And it's huge. It's huge. It takes, to go from the very south of Metro Atlanta to the very tippity top of Metro Atlanta, it's like the same space of the state of New Hampshire. The only reason why I know that is I'm from there. Like, it's a huge space. So it covers a lot of ground, and it's about 3 to 4 hours to travel through. And so literally, for me to get to the Red Tent, and I know JereLyn has to drive about an hour 15. For me, this past one of the times, I actually had to go to my in-laws, to my parents, to Crystal's. I think it was the last time, or one of the times I had to go from my house, 45 minutes to another house, another 45 minutes to another house, another 30 minutes to another house. So I could drop off my daughter and make sure I could get there on time. And it's incredible how my rinky-dinky car is still able to travel all of this and do all of this. Just not even the actual event, but just getting there is very interesting. And another thing, Crystal mentioned one time, the women who need to be there will be there. I've told a lot of people about this, and I've spread the message of, like, please come. It is totally worth the drive. It's totally worth the effort to go up there and relax for an afternoon. And it's funny because it's like, with some women, it's like it's impossible for them to get there. But that's just their journey that they need to take at the moment. And it sucks, too, especially the last time. A good friend of ours, Lori, was like the only time that she would be able to come to the Red Tent. She's moving, and circumstances beyond our control, she wasn't able to come. And it's one of those. It stinks that, for me personally, it stinks that it's come to a point that I actually have to schedule time for me, like time off. I have to go and make it in my calendar and make the plans and be like, listen, at the first Saturday of every month, I am busy from like 9, 10 o'clock till about 6, 7 o'clock. It's from 12 to 5, but I give that buffer so I can actually be there. And but if I don't do that, I actually don't do that during the week or during the month. I'm actually kind of recently been burnt out this month, and I'm going through a lot of like internal shadow work type stuff. And yeah, like I actually was thinking yesterday and today how I'm so excited that the red tent's only like 2 weeks away, and how I want to do another one like this weekend. Because it is. I get to not only just talk to people, like I talk to JereLyn quite often, on the phone, via text, via whatever, but actually just sit next to another woman and be embraced by her, have a hug, share a laugh, share a conversation. I met some really cool women at the last one. There was a lot of new faces there, and we got to have like sub conversations. Us women, we tribe. We talk. There's a reason why women go to the bathroom together. It's because we like to be together. We like to hang out together. Like, there's a reason why we still do those things. It's just in a very, very different way today. The way that we tribe, the way that we gather is not to take time to nourish ourselves. It's more just to get through the moment. But some of my favorite moments are when another woman shows up. Because it's funny, because all of us, the majority of us are very intuitive, so we know that they're there before they even walk in. And it's that moment of like, oh my gosh, who's here? Who's coming? Who's coming in the door? And it's just very exciting, because when that woman walks in, whether it be me walking in or somebody else walking in, just being received is just absolutely amazing. You're loved, and as soon as it's funny, it's spoken, but it's like unspoken too, to not wear shoes in the red tent. But when you walk up to where it's actually like hard floor and then carpet. People actually pause, and because there's like purses and stuff at the entrance, but it's like, even if you're the first one there, you pause before walking in. And currently in the corner right now is this beautiful canopy of red fabric, and it literally looks like a red tent, and there's little meditation pillows and lots of food. I know JereLyn talked about the food, but I feel like I need to talk about this for a moment. Calories and fat don't count in the red tent, and anybody who's like a nutritionist or a food Nazi will be like, yes, they do. It doesn't matter where you are. No, calories and fat content do not count in the red tent, and we eat like little pigs, and we embrace food. Because I don't know about you guys, but I get cravings every time I'm on my period. Like hardcore, like I want to eat. And I want two specific things. I want chocolates, and I want salt and vinegar chips and nothing else. And so one of the really cool things that Crystal's done there is she'll make these beautiful like sandwiches, and yes, we do have chips, but there's other things too. And it also has pushed my palate, my boundaries of like, oh yeah, I don't have to go get the salt and vinegar chips. How about I go get some nice veggie dip? Let's go pick up some beautiful broccoli and cucumber and red peppers and chop them up, and I'll eat that instead. It's just, it even has like a reminder on a food level of, take care of my body. Embrace what it is. Last time we danced. Yeah, it was last time we danced. And it was just the coolest thing, because movement for me is just such an active like meditation. And it was just really cool. One of the songs we danced to was I'm Sexy and I Know It. Now, all of us women, I have JereLyn just hold on. I have her just laughing in the background. I just want to make sure all of you guys can see this. She's on mute, but she is giggling because it was the funniest, and I mean the funniest thing. And most of the time, I didn't even see because I had my eyes closed because I'm the dancer that's like woo, with my eyes closed, and I don't really pay attention. But at one point during that song, I had to like just stop and watch everybody because everybody was doing their own thing. And we had some new people walk in literally while we were dancing. And we were like, and they looked at me. It was somebody that I knew and I've invited, and I was like, you should come. And she came with her daughter. They walked in and they were like, what did we walk into? This is kind of strange because it's not something that you would think about. You wouldn't think about going to a red tent and find everybody dancing to "I'm Sexy and I Know It." You know, it's just not something you really expect. But that's what we were doing because just listening to I walk into the club and the song, I'm playing it in my head and I'm just like thinking about it, and it's empowering. Oh my gosh, JereLyn, you are dying at the background. It's empowering. And she's just like, I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm done. Yeah, so for me it's empowering in that moment. And just looking at everybody, like we circled up and we were just moving our hips and swaying our hips and just really trying to connect with that feminine side because I don't know about you guys, but I have difficulties connecting with my feminine side, especially living in a very male-dominated world. There's a lot of times where it's really hard for me to connect with my feminine aspect and be like, I have curves, and I'm a larger woman, and I need to embrace that. I'm not a twig, so I'm going to just do what I want. And this past time, I actually wore a skirt, and if you don't know me personally, like, I own jeans, yoga pants, and shorts. Like, that's pretty much it. I've got black pants for my cashier job, and that's it. I have one skirt. Well, now I have two. One of them's like a professional one, but the other one's this flowy brown, really pretty. I just felt like I needed to wear it. And I did, and it was so cool because, like, I have never really embraced that let's be flowy, let's wear skirts, let's be very girly. And that day I did. And I felt completely comfortable. No worries, no quorums, because most of the time I feel very uncomfortable in skirts. But it was okay. And it was really cool because that day almost everybody was wearing skirts. Do you remember that, JereLyn? Everybody except for like one or two women were wearing skirts. Right?
Yeah, I mean, like the 14-year-old that came wasn't, and I don't remember that if Emily was or not, but I don't think she was. But Nora was in a skirt. I was in a skirt. I mean, you were in a. Pretty much everybody else was, and we had like a nice circle by the end, because Irene came in a skirt too, and yeah. And one of Crystal's other unspoken rules is, especially if we've been going religiously like I do, you should wear a fucking skirt, damn it. Like, she always gets mad at me when I show up in my jeans, and she's either in yoga pants or a skirt, sometimes a muumuu, but the point is not so much that you're in a skirt, but that it's flowy and it's comfortable and it's feminine and it allows you to move in a feminine way. Jeans are very constricting. They're a more masculine aspect, and it's great for the feminism movement, but we're trying to go back to the feminism movement almost, to change it back to that. We felt like to be empowering women, we had to start wearing jeans and go to work like men and become equals with them. Well, we're there. We did it. Congratulations. But now we've lost some of that goddess aspect. We've lost some of that divine femininity that we need as women. We're different than men. I'm sorry. We are. We're better. No offense. But we are headstrong, we are powerful, we are empowering, and we are beautiful, and we are feminine. We are not going to go outside and lift a boulder. We will lift a car off of our child that is trapped. It is not that we're not strong. We just have different areas of strength, and we have different ways of showing it. And we are allowed to be beautiful and sparkly. I love glitter. I'm like a glitter whore. It's amazing. I love to be flowy and all of that, but I was a tomboy for a really long time, and I still like to climb trees and, be a tomboy, and I like to be comfortable. But there's something about a long skirt that flows, and when you spin, it twirls, and to have that glittery, flowy aspect about you, and it changes the way that you walk and the way that you move. I don't walk the same in jeans that I do in a flowy skirt. At the expo, I danced, and I had like 7 booths looking at me, and I had somebody come and dance with me, and I think I've had a couple people come dance with me. But it's because they can see that. They see that elemental female aspect in me. And we all have that. We are all divine spirit. We are all that side of the coin. And men have divinity within them too. And normally it shows up as a masculine divinity, but they have that divine feminine in them too. We all came from a woman. We all came from the womb. And there's a reason that there's duality, and we can be strong, and we can have other people lean on us, and that might be masculine, but we can also be very nurturing and very flowy. And a lot of women have lost that part of our duality. We are so focused on that 9-to-5 job and being equal to men that we don't realize that being feminine is being equal to men. We're the other side of the coin. We're the yin to the yang. We're the cream inside the oatmeal cookie. We're the missing piece. And we need to make sure that we keep that and we allow that back into our lives. Angels have wings for a reason. Fairies have wings. If you don't have wings, you can't fly. You have to remember all the pieces and the parts of you that make you you. And there's a lot in our culture that's still unequal. Like, women tend to make less than men. And there's one statistic that says that we actually, if you compare men that have our job and women that have our job, whatever job that is, that women actually work for free a week out of every month. Well, if that's the case, then give me my menstrual week off and let me go to the red tent for that week, because I'd be okay with that. So there's still a lot of growth in our culture that needs to happen. But the only way for our culture to grow is for us to grow as individuals. And one of the ways for women to grow as individuals is to tribe with other women, to do things like come to the red tent, talk to your sisters in person, via messenger, via phone, however you need to, Skype with them, do this. You can do a Google Hangout with just your girlfriends. There are tons of people out there doing just this. And it's okay. However you need to connect with someone, do it. I have friends that are in other states. I have friends that I haven't seen in 4 years that I'm talking about doing road trips with. You have to connect however you can and stay in touch with those people that are important to you. We're all one. So even when I just think about Lindsay, Lindsay will call me. She's connected to me. I'm connected to her. I'm connected to my mom, to my son, connected to my girlfriend in Wisconsin and my girlfriend in Michigan and my girlfriend in Georgia while I'm here in Florida. I saw my 3 moms yesterday. I have 2 godmothers and my mom. I'm connected to them even though I don't see them but once or twice a year. It doesn't matter. They're still my mom. We're all one and we're all connected. And when you treat somebody with malice, you're treating yourself with malice. So why not just treat them with love? Treat every girl like your sister, every boy like your brother. Treat every man with respect, every woman with respect. And you'll be happier for it. Because every time you do that, you're respecting yourself. You're loving yourself. And we have to love ourselves before we can give love out. You're never going to have the perfect relationship with somebody if you don't love yourself first, and if you don't do what Lindsay did and make her perfect man list and then do it herself. She bought herself flowers because she wanted her man to do that. And you have to. You have to be the person that you want in your life. And the more you change and evolve, the more your tribe evolves and changes with you. People who are not good for me fall away out of my life without me doing anything about it. It just happens. Circumstances change, things shift, because your world shifts to create this new perspective that you have gained for yourself. You love yourself, therefore the world shows you love. If you emit hate and feelings of disgust and, oh my God, I hate the way I look, and I can't believe I ate that last piece of chocolate cake, I'm such a pig, instead of going, hell, that tasted really fucking good. And it's not a guilty pleasure, but it's nourishment for my body, and I love my food. Then you don't have to gain this extra weight. And a lot of women gain all this weight because they need to feel safe. And fat is padding. That's all it is. It's a protection against the world. And a lot of women, and you can see it in our culture, need protection from the world. And they do it in various ways. And one of them is having eating disorders and horrible things and horrible relationships with people. We think we have to be abused to be loved, and that's not true. It is so not true. Don't fall for that trap. If they treat you like crap, whether you're in a relationship with a guy or a girl or somebody in between, don't stand for it. Get the fuck out of there. Come to a red tent. We will love you. We will show you what love is. And then you go out and you find it in the world. And a lot of the times, you take a little bit of time to love yourself throughout the day, throughout the week. You grow exponentially. It's not an equal give and take. You do one good thing for yourself and 10 good things come back to you. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort to just tell yourself that you love yourself every day and to give yourself a positive affirmation to focus on when all those negative thoughts are driving at you, because you can feel like crap when you start this. You don't have to be spiritually empowered when you start this. You will get there, and it will not take you very long. It really won't. And the more you grow and the more you do this and the more you love, the faster it comes back to you and the faster it's attracted to you and the more magnetism that you put out with that vibration of, I love you, I love this world, I love being in it, it makes me happy, I love my cousins, I love my kids, I love whoever is out there that's meant for me. I love it all. And I love the carrots and I love the chocolate cake. Equally. I don't despise my chocolate cake. And I don't despise broccoli. I may not prefer to eat broccoli, but I do not despise it.
Yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying. One of the things that was popped in my head as you were talking was about how everything's so unbalanced in the world and how it's we've lost that feminine aspect. And just as you were talking about that, I was thinking, how I'm slowly honing in on different things that I do that is quote-unquote girly. I like to put on makeup to put on my face. And it's not because I need to put on makeup, because that's not the point. The point is there are days where I'm just like, I need to put on some makeup just so I can get up and get out of the house. Tap into that. I have found like the perfect combination of like the eyeshadow-ness on my eyes and the correct eyeliner and the mascara. And it's a process. Like doing that process is actually like a meditation. Mm-hmm. And just listening to my tribe of women that I've collected into my life, they're the same way. It's not because I have to put on makeup today. It's because I have to go through that process. I have to go through that meditation. I have to tap into that feminine side. It's a really big deal today. I'm having, I don't know if you can really tell on the phone, I keep playing with my hair and doing this is because, you know what, I'm having a fabulous hair day. And I'm really excited about it. And I keep playing with my hair, keep running my hands through it and going, oh, I love it, because it's just flowy. Today it's like connected with just my body in general. And that was a new thing walking into this movement, into this idea, or whatever you really want to say, you know, these past few months, I've really been able to connect more with my body. Okay, so I have sexual emotional trauma, and really, I mean, I've done a lot of work on it, but there's still always work to do. And really looking at that and having women that I can call upon and be like, you know, I'm not a big fan of all of this today. You know, I'm just not comfortable. And they challenge me to do different things. And we talk about those things of, well, I was trying to remember a specific conversation from the red tent, but, you know, trying different things like makeup. I think we did have like a conversation about makeup. And actually another thing that I think I'm going to do this week, because it's just time and I'm dying to do some henna, is henna. You know, for me, it is the most beautiful thing in the world. I am a tattoo freak. I know JereLyn has tattoos. I know Crystal has tattoos. Big secret, everyone. I don't have a single one. I don't know why. I've been wanting one for years. Still haven't caved and got one. I know what I want. I just don't know where to put it. That's the issue I'm running into. Beautiful thing. Literally, what started off was henna tattoos for me, because they're temporary and I can play around and figure out where I want tattoos. And it's beautiful because what ends up coming out for me is symbols, just random symbols, nothing elaborate, but they're just adorning my, just taking my skin and putting a beautiful design on it, letting that henna dry, and then it coming off and staining my skin for anywhere from 3 days to a week or two. I know, JereLyn, do you still have your henna?
I think it's finally faded, but that's one of the things that I look forward to at the red tent is the henna, because I put a glitter spray on me. I still have some on me today, every day for my skin to make, well, for one thing it's scented, which is awesome, and for another thing it glitters, which is double awesome. And it's my way of connecting to that divine feminine and that elemental in me, and that's really the spirit in me, because I think glitter is gorgeous and it's spiritual, and it makes me feel more spiritual, more glittery. And like my favorite necklace is a druzy in an awesome like aqua color, and just sparkle to me means divine. It's part of what I feel like is part of a divine aspect. You know, everybody has a different rendition of what God looks like, and to me it's this wispy, glittery awesomeness that you feel more than you see. And the way for me to connect on a daily basis of feeling enchanting and beautiful, and because divinity is beauty, really. It's feeling beautiful, it's feeling connected, it's being intuitive, and it's feeling good about yourself and empowered with yourself. And so one thing I do is I put on perfume and I use glitter. And I wear an insane amount of bracelets, and I wear rings and necklaces and earrings sometimes, but I love anything that sparkles. And when my hair does good things, I feel better. And you know, when I'm having a good boob day and they're in the right position, and when I've got a cute dress on or whatever it is that makes you feel sexier and more in your own skin in a good way, because I don't always feel good about my body, and my weight has fluctuated like crazy between having a kid and hormones and birth control and all of that craziness that I've done through the years. So I haven't always felt beautiful, and sometimes my body doesn't empower me, and so that's a way for me to bring it back to that state of, even if when I pass the mirror I don't necessarily like it, when I can look down on my hands and I see glitter, I feel beautiful and I feel spiritual and I feel divine. And you have to have that reminder And it doesn't have to be glitter for you. You know, for you it could be, you know, a chain wallet that makes you feel badass. You know, it's whatever feeling that you want and whatever. I like connecting the physical to whatever I'm trying to do. So, like, I create memes so I can see my affirmations. And for me, that just solidifies it. So, glitter creates a feeling that I want, so I wear glitter. You know, when I want to be a biker babe, I wear black and leather and chains, and that makes me feel badass and like I know how to ride a motorcycle. And motorcycles make me feel like I'm free and like I'm flying, and it makes me feel connected to my father. So there's always something that connects you to a memory or to a feeling that you can do in your daily life to give you that, to help you go there, to put you in that mindset that you need to be in for the day. And the best way to do that is in your morning routine, like spritzing yourself with glitter and perfume and putting on your makeup and having that moment of creating yourself for the day. And that's what makeup is. It's a creation of self. It's this mask that you put on that projects to the world how your internal feelings are for the day. Like, I put on a lot of like dark, you know, they call it the smoky eye when I'm feeling edgy. And I put on glitter and sparkle when I want to feel like a flowy hippie. And, you know, it's just whatever you do, it projects the inside of you. Your clothing, you know, guys do that all the time with their hats and their accessories and whatever. And when women want to feel sexy, the cleavage shows a lot more. It's just however you want to project yourself. And we have all these little bits and pieces that we can do throughout our day that give us that allow us that projection. And it's important that we do these things because it reminds ourselves to do whatever intention we have set for the day. And it's always important to remind yourself throughout the day. So if you're wearing something, that's a great reminder because every time you look at it, you go, oh, that's right, I'm beautiful, I'm sexy, I'm spiritual, I'm badass, whatever it is that you need to be for the day. And so, like, Crystal has a pause bracelet that goes off every 90 minutes and vibrates. And the bracelet, literally, it's not all that pretty. It says pause right there. And it's got beads on it, so that the one side's pretty. The other side is just this black thing that says pause, and it vibrates. And you can set it for 60 or 90 minutes, and the entire time we were at the expo, every time that thing went off, all three of us paused. And whoever was with us, they were forced to pause too, because otherwise they looked kind of like an idiot for standing out, for not doing it. Funny. So instead of us being the oddballs out, they were the odd ones out, which was awesome. But in that moment, you paused for whatever reason you needed to pause, whether it was to center, to reconnect, or to remember what your intention was. My intention was to sell jewelry and sell crystals and make connections and pass out pamphlets about the red tent and about Crystal and about her services, or to be the best person that I could be for the day. You know, all things in your greater good. And that's a general intention that a lot of people use is, you know, all things for your greater good. I'm going to be the best person that I can be today. One of the chants that I do is from a Buddhist group, and it's, let's see if I can remember it. What is it? Do you remember, Lindsay?
Which one are you talking about?
The Myo Yokeko, can't remember. Myo Yokeko, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what that chant means in English is basically to be your greatest self for the day. So whatever you're doing that day, whether it's with your family at home, Myo Yokeko, something like that. Anyway, that chant just means your greatest self. Your Buddha self, your greatest self. You're going to be that for today. So whether you're at work, you know, kissing ass or nose to the grindstone, or you're at home bribing your child to be good, or playing outside, you're going to be the best of whatever you are for that day, whether it's your little worker or your mother self or your red tent facilitator. You're going to be the best you that you are. And the chant, I used to do it on the drive to work and on the way home from work every day. And it's like the meditation that I found that I would do it with was 6 minutes and something, but you're supposed to do it for like 5 minutes, so that was perfect. And they have ones that are like an hour long because YouTube's insane. But it gave me that moment to connect. And it was only 5 minutes long. And I got to say over and over again that I was going to be the best person that I could be for that day. It's part of my ritual for the day. And we all need that. You know, when we're little, you know, moms are told that kids that are small need routine. Well, then there's a new study that comes out that teenagers need a routine even more than little kids. Well, so do adults. We all need routine. And we all need to break out of our routine to create growth and to facilitate growth, so to drive a different way to work, to keep our brain learning new pathways, because every time we do something a little bit different, even just showering a different way, like out of order, you know, like washing your body first and then your hair, and then the next day washing your hair first and then your body, that challenges our brain to create new neural pathways. And for a spiritual perspective, it challenges ego, because ego likes routine. But we have to remember that in the morning and at night, we should have that meditative ritual that we do, because rituals put us in that mindset. It's a way to connect. If you can connect without doing anything, no props, no whatever, you know, props to you. That's great. But a lot of us need a little bit of help, a little bit of push to get us there. Like Lindsay and I need to go to the Red Tent every month to remember to do self-care, because we're moms and we work and we go to school and we suck at self-care. We've gotten a little bit better since then. We have. You know, I made a whole weekend out of a couple Red Tents ago. I bought a movie and flowers and chocolate, and I made chocolate-covered strawberries at my house, and I ate them all weekend, and I ate them before dinner, and nobody was going to tell me otherwise. And that's fine, you know. And that's part of the Red Tent, is supporting each other and that finding of self-love, and supporting each other in every aspect of our life. Like Lindsay got makeup tips, and how that's a ritual for women to put their face on for the day. And it's not just our face physically, it's our face to the world. It's what we're doing for the day. You know, we're going to put on different makeup for a night going out, going to work, and heading home to the husband. All different makeup. And our kid, no makeup. My kid doesn't need to see me wearing makeup. It doesn't matter. So we've got different faces that we show the world. And part of what we need to do as women is to blend it correctly and to still be us in every aspect. You know, we're multifaceted. We're diamonds. And we have to remember that each facet is still that same diamond. We just shine in a different light. You know, we might give out a blue rainbow or an indigo rainbow or a red rainbow. It doesn't matter. It's still the same rainbow. It's still spirit. It's still divinity. It's still the essential feminine. It's still us, you know. And we're more connected than we have allowed ourselves to be in the last few years. And we're growing as a culture. We're becoming more awakened. We're becoming more knowledgeable in what we need to do as a society. But there's still a lot of us that are asleep and in that same routine and that hamster wheel and that you know, running. But there's a lot of people that are choosing to move, like literally physically move their families and their lives away from the rat race and go to places like Turks and Caicos or Florida before they're of retirement age and take themselves out of that, because it's a less fast-paced world. And the more I'm in it, the more I realize that being in a fast-paced world isn't really all that it's cracked up to be. You know, I always thought I was going to be this career woman. I wasn't going to get married. I wasn't going to have kids. Well, having Titus changed all of that, obviously, because he comes first in every aspect. And I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off for the last 2 years, trying to be everything at once, to be the woman who has the child. And, you know, I gave a shot at marriage for a while, and being a student and being a worker bee. And it's too much and it's too intense. And yes, I had to do it to get through school. But the more I did it and the closer I got to the end, the more I just knew that that was not safe. It was not healthy. It was not happy. You know, it's very hard to foster happiness in a world that you've created so much stress for yourself. And that's part of what the red tent did for me, was every time I went to the red tent, you know, I was doing crazy work weeks. I'd never gone to a red tent where I'd had like a relaxing week before it. It was my break. It was my day off. And it was my breathing moment. And for a lot of the red tents, I fell asleep at one point during the red tent because I had worked the night before and like had literally no sleep going on. And that was okay too, because that's what I needed as a woman and as a person. I just needed some rest. And the red tent is a safe place to just get what you need. And you take what you can and what you resonate with, and you leave the rest. You know, not everybody, and everybody who came, we always did an activity that jived with everybody. You know, sometimes we would be playing video games on the phone, like charade things. I don't even know what you call it, but you know, it's this game that we we did, created by some celebrity, where, you know, you put your phone up on your head and it said something and they acted it out and you tried to guess what it was. And then other times we talked, and then other times we did stuff that was more spiritual, and other times we did art. You know, when the kids came, we all did these art, and celery hearts make awesome roses, by the way, just so you guys know. And we just always did whatever was needed at that moment to be who we needed to be and grow. And that's part of what the red tent does, is it helps you grow. Taking that break allows your body the rest it needs, and your mind to grow. You know, like when you do a workout, you don't do legs every day. You alternate. You do legs and you do arms, because you're giving your muscles a break and that time to, you know, they've had to rip apart and they need to repair. The red tent is that time that women need to repair. Our lives are hard, you know, and some people's lives are really easy. And part of the way to make it easy is to be in the flow, to be in the flow of your life and be happy with what you do. And a lot of us put a lot of unnecessary stress and unnecessary happiness on our lives. And the red tent was my way of reminding myself to knock it the fuck off, to just to rest and to be okay with me and to settle with me and to be okay with taking that time off and realize that I don't have to be like, you know, caffeinated and freaking out every 5 seconds. I can just have some relaxing tea and some good food and some good friends and talk and be. Stop doing and be. I don't have to fake smile for people that I don't know. I don't have to impress a boss. I don't have to worry about getting to work late because my daycare thing didn't work out. Everything was okay there. You could come in, you could go when you wanted to leave. You could do what you wanted to do, participate in what you wanted to, go to sleep, read a book, talk to a girlfriend, meet somebody you've never met before. Everything was okay. Everything was a safe place. Everything was a good vibe. There was nothing going on that was wrong that you had to think about and figure out and try to solve. It was time off. And we need more of that. And we need to remember that. And that gives me that reminder that throughout the week, I should buy myself flowers every once in a while, or I should take a bath every once in a while, or I should read a book that is not related to the heart's anatomy every once in a while. And just take a break and take 5 minutes or 10 minutes or meditate or do whatever it is I need to reconnect and be me again. Because we lose ourselves in today's culture, and we don't need to. We really don't. And we don't need to do a lot of things that we think we need to do. And we need to look at our lives seriously and make a list and see what's going on and what makes us feel good and what do we cringe at the moment we see it listed on our list. Do we really want to do that? If not, scratch it the fuck out. Take it off. Go replace it with something that you want to do. Go garden. Go make homemade chocolate. Go tell your boss off and get a new job. It's okay. Your world will not end, and there are women around you and people who love you and family that will be there for you. Whether they're related to you or not, you're supported, you are loved, and you can support yourself. You can love yourself. And it is okay if the world crumbles around you, because a new one will spring up and it will be better than before.
You know, for me, the red tent is an active affirmation to myself that I am worth a day off.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do, well, full-time mommy, with lots of help from other people, but I have the right to say I need a day off, a complete day off. I want to schedule. It's like, it is such an affirmation of like, no, I'm having time off. I'm having time off, and time off is happening this day every month. And at first, I mentioned at the beginning of the call how I was like, well, if it's worth my time, I'll do it. It is worth my time. Not only is it worth my time, it's something I look forward to. And it's something I wish I could do more of. You know, it's learning how to be a woman. I know it sounds weird, but it's almost like learning how to be a woman authentically. Authentically woman, uniquely woman. Being me. Being me without any filters, being me without any layers, being who I am without worry or judgment behind it. I can be a goofball, I can say something in my head that sounds really stupid, but when I ask the question or say it out loud, it's not perceived that way. And if it is perceived like, oh, I can't believe you just asked that, we'll giggle about it, but then we'll talk about it too. It's not like, oh, that was stupid, or oh, you're stupid, or oh, you're not worth it, or whatever. It's like, I feel like getting another plate of food. Do it, girl. Or, oh, I have to go to the restroom, or oh, I want to go outside for a moment. Or, one time we went walking in the woods, and apparently I needed to be grounded because all of a sudden I was knee deep in mud. Just shut down. But I felt good. It didn't matter. I had dirt all over my knees and legs and my yoga pants at the moment, and I was like, whatever. Luckily for me, I had extra clothes up in my car. Not a big deal. Get to dance and sing and burn beautiful incense. That's one thing that I'm a little bummed about right now is I live with someone who is unable to deal with incense burning in the house. She has an allergic reaction to it, and I get to walk in there and there's incense burning. It's literally something this big. It's so tiny, but it means a lot to me to be in a place where I could actually burn it. It's not even me, it's Crystal's house and she's doing it, but there's incense burning. Something so sacred for me, just the action and seeing the smoke rise and the smelly goodness. We actually burnt incense when we were at the expo in the hotel room, and it's just so, it's taking that and recognizing that, I am worth it. I am worth the little things, and the little things excite me today, and I need to take care of myself. And I'm with JereLyn, for her and I, our spirituality is very similar, where we need to take an action step. We need to physically do something for ourselves or for our higher, or our gods and spirits and guides, angels, guardians, anybody up there. I like to pray and put an intent into an incense and burn it and see the smoke rise into the universe. That's how I know that my message is being sent. Or, I'll do shadow work, and I will take the pieces of paper of my shadow work and put them in an abalone shell, light it on fire. Once again, the smoke goes into the universe. I have to take time and schedule the first Saturday of every month. I actually have now come to a point that on my thing for work, I say religious reasons. I used to say need time off for school, but now it says religious reasoning. Because it is. Like, on some level, it is. For me, it is almost, it's that type of level of, like, people go to church every Sunday. You know, I know a lot of people do that. I go to the Red Tent every month. You know, I have these connections, and I make a point to make sure that I maintain those connections throughout my month. I make a point to talk. Even if it's not specifically about being a woman, it's just making those connections and being a part of and just being present. Sometimes, for me, it's not about striking up a conversation. It's literally sending a message that says poke or hi or thinking about you. Just want to let you know you're not alone, you know. Because for me, I've noticed I alienate myself very easily. I suffer from depression, and I'm actually in the roughest months of the year for me. I've got, like, opposite of sad. My months are worse in the spring and summer than the fall and winter. Like, these are my roughest months for me, where my depression's the greatest. So I have to do the most self-care during these months. I need to recognize that some days, you know what, I just need to sit on my couch in my yoga pants and do what I can at that moment. You know, like today was one of those days where it's just really, really rough and really hard. But you know what, I was able to get up. You know, for me, this was my self-care today. I ate food, took a shower, and I'm here on the call. Like, it's so small, but like that was the level that I needed to be today. And most days, that's a given, but today those were really big deals. And for me, I've learned with these other women, being present with them every month and really going balls to the wall of, like, blunt honesty of, you know what, that's perfect for me today. The last Red Tent, we actually got some really hardcore, close conversations. Like, we talked about our first moon cycle and talked about what happened, and you know, some women's experiences were beautiful and some women's experiences were not. So even just listening to that actually went in my head today. It rattled around up there. Like, you know what, I'm just having a really rough day. And it's okay that I want to eat Dorito chips. So I'm going to eat my Dorito chips, and I'm going to go make a sandwich so I don't eat just Dorito chips today, because that was a thought. Needed something. And then by eating my sandwich, I was able to eat some spinach salad, which then led for me to be able to play with my daughter and really turn things around and pick up my day again. You know? That's what this has taught me. That I don't have to stay in the crux of feeling like shit all the time in my head. Because I really do. I suffer from really bad depression, and there are days when it's really, really hard. It's really, really hard. So yeah, I'm glad you guys joined us today. We had viewers coming in and off throughout the call. So if you enjoyed our episode, give us a thumbs up down below on YouTube. Subscribe so you guys never miss a show. JereLyn, since we are at the end of the show, have you even given any thought of what we should talk about next week?
Oh, fuck. Okay. Well, my thought, I think it was earlier today, was about beauty, about divine feminine, about how to be beautiful every day, and how to refocus on being beautiful and what beauty means to you and to me. And, you know, we're both not model, gorgeous type people. We're not real thin and 6'5" or however tall those people are. You know, I'm 4'11", and just how you feel beautiful every day and how you can remind yourself, and how traditional American beauty icona is is not the real definition of beauty.
I like it. I like it. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about next week. We're going to talk about beauty. I had no idea. I just, for some reason, I like the whole entire idea of we just give a little snippet of what we're going to talk about next week at the end. So hopefully next week I will meditate and come up with a topic, or you too. So yeah, that's what we'll talk about next week. Feel free to comment below and find us on Facebook, Essence of Blue Rose. Our very own JereLyn does a lot of moderation on there. She finds all kinds of cool memes and makes memes and posts on there. And so yeah, everybody have a wonderful week or weekend or wherever you are. I just hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.